Hey there, YouTube. As I mentioned earlier, I've done a couple of videos on my airbrush paint booth as well as my airbrush stand, but I thought I would probably finalize all of these with the epoxy drying rack, which is really what ends up giving your painted lures the depth and all of the detail in them. I mean, I've tried to clear coat them with just the spray top coat gloss, and it's still pretty matte. It's not what I was looking for. So after watching a bunch of videos on YouTube and realizing that using the epoxy was the way to go, I attempted couple of different alternatives, some slow RPM electric motors, things that I just didn't feel like in the end were, really going to be all that safe to let them run. I didn't realize that the epoxy would take as long as it does to stop really wanting to sag. So I ended up just going the route of saying, let's spend a little bit of money on it and make it work. What I ended up buying was a charbroil grill it up, the kind of thing that's supposed to go on like a barrel smoker, which is what this is. Here, it's just nothing more than a very small, low-speed RPM motor. I think they call this thing the spit, the big steel chrome pipe that runs through it. It's square. This would be the part that would mount into the barbecue grates, and then this would be the part that would mount onto the side of the grill. And what I did was, this was in the shape of a U. I just basically grabbed it, bent it over, ran a couple of pan heads into the 1x6, which allowed it to stand up. It's real sturdy. And then on this side, again, being in the world of doing crafting stuff, I happen to have a hot glue gun, and I just hot glue gunned that down to the board because there wasn't any holes, and kind of looks like it's stainless, and drilling stainless really is not fun. So I took the spit, I took a couple of the hardware pieces that came with it. Originally it came with a pair of forks, which is what this front set nut was, and that was to stab into a chicken, I guess. And I was able to break all 4 of them off fairly well, and then I just sandwiched this piece of plastic pegboard that I used probably a 5-inch diameter hole saw on to cut out, and then got that wedged in there real good. And then on this side I was short on 1 set bolt, so I ended up leaving 2 of the spits on. They happened to lay out really good with the holes in the pegboard. I hot glued them, I hot glued the thing onto the spit, and it also gives a really nice place for the rubber bands to wrap around for tensioning on the back. So essentially what I do is I take some large rubber bands, run them around, run them to a paper clip into one of the eyes on the lure, take another paper clip, hook it into this side. The lure's fairly tight and secure. The nice thing is if it wants to flip on you, some of my lures, especially my lipless cranks, want to flip over, and that really causes it to be heavy on one side. I can take and run a bread tie or anything else back to this center beam, and it keeps it from rolling over. But the RPM speed on this is just really, really slow. So gives you plenty of time to coat them up with the epoxy as it's going around. Typically, it's about 8 or 10 hours that I find that this ends up staying on there. And this is just for demonstration. Actually, I'm noticing that the lure is sitting just slightly crooked. I would have put it in another hole there. But yeah, I think you can make this out of pretty much anything you've got laying around your garage or your shop. I've got maybe 30 bucks in it. I think the grill it up from Menards, Lowe's, places like that, just 27 bucks. So the rest of it I had all just laying around, too many years of owning too much stuff. But if you're interested in one, this is probably the best route that I've seen to go. I've seen a lot of people using the idea of converting a nightlight motor or any other small rotating thing. I just didn't feel like leaving that for the amount of time that it took was a good idea. I worried about it and just didn't want to leave it running for any period of time. So if this was at all beneficial or helpful, please do me a favor and like the video, provide comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you're interested in the paint booth, the airbrush stand, or really anything else, check out my page. I got a couple more videos on it. I'm a newbie just getting started, but thought this video may be beneficial, as I did not find as clear of an answer as what I wanted when I was looking. So thanks for taking the time to review it.